All right, it is 7:15 on the dot. I'm Fox 19 Now First Alert Meteorologist Brad Maushart with your 7:15 streaming show. And one more day here of the fall-like crisp air. We've seen it outside this morning. We dropped into the 40s in a lot of spots out there this afternoon. We got a little warmer, and that's the trend that will continue into the late week and the weekend. The winds have shifted. We're now seeing more of that southerly breeze. That is pushing the temperatures up now. And we'll eventually get back into the mid-80s by the time we hit Saturday, Sunday. So enjoy what is left of our little false fall because it's turning around as we head into this weekend. As always, if anybody ever has any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, you know how to do it. Just chime in here on the old Facebook. Let me just make sure I can see the comments. All right. So here's what we're dealing with outside. Let me go ahead and roller door this over here. And you'll see that the drought has been getting worse and worse over the last couple of weeks. August 21st, just 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a couple days. August 21st, that drought monitor, when it came out, just a smidgen of our communities had drought-like conditions. Just a little sliver there. Mason County and Adams County had the abnormally dry conditions. By August the 28th, the next week, just 1 week later, with very little rain, that abnormally dry area spread to about half the tri-state, especially southeast of town, and then just a little sliver of Adams County, the same sliver basically that was seeing the abnormally dry conditions, that quickly turned into a moderate drought. And now we fast forward to just last Thursday, the 4th, and the moderate drought conditions have spread now to about a third of the tri-state, the rest of us all seeing abnormally dry conditions. We have not seen a bunch of rainfall at all, outside of the one rain event we had just last week. We are running a surplus, believe it or not, for the month of September, but that's just because of the 1 day of rain we had in a few spots out there, and then we dried on out. That was Friday night and a Saturday. That was it. We have not seen a drop of rain since, and with lack of moisture that we've seen across the area, and with very little rain opportunity the next 10 to 14 days, and with not very, but at least above normal temperatures expected here through the rest of this forecast, the Climate Prediction Center has us in a risk category for something known as rapid onset drought. Right? Kind of sounds like some kind of a medical disorder. Rapid onset drought. What that means, we're going to be seeing these drought-like conditions get a lot worse before they get better, and it's going to happen fairly quickly. We'll see how this drought monitor, changes as we work way through this week, because we have not, other than that Friday night and a Saturday rain chance, we have not seen much rainfall this month, and we don't have much rainfall in the forecast, which is great if you own a car wash. Other than that, it's not great for most of us because I've been wanting the free car wash. Dang it. If you're going to be out there this weekend, I know we got a lot of big things happening. Covington Oktoberfest begins on Friday, runs through the weekend. We have Ziegler Fest, we have Oktoberfest, we have Newport's Oktoberfest, we have Lebanon, the city of Lebanon, their Oktoberfest. There's a ton happening this weekend. FC Cincinnati, the Bengals too. Great for the outdoor plans, but the chances yesterday, this is kind of your first alert we're going to tell you about. We were looking at some spotty storms, some scattered storms to roll in Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, right? We needed some relief. Those chances have not completely fizzled out, but they're not great. Just the slimmest of chances for a shower as we work way through the weekend. Great for the outdoor plans, not great if your lawn is getting pretty crispy out there, or for those with crops, or for if you're hoping for a good show this year for the leaves, as the leaves start to turn color here next month. It's usually by mid-October here in the tri-state, October 12th, 20th, somewhere in there that we typically see the leaves change over. If you've noticed and you've been outside, you might notice a few leaves already starting to drop. Those trees are entering kind of getting shocked, right? They go into they experience shock-like symptoms just like humans do. Not just like, but they have their own kind of version of that. And when you have these abnormally, dry conditions coupled with the above normal temperatures, you do sometimes see those trees just kind of lose the leaves ahead of time without even changing color. It's just a way for them to conserve energy. So that is what we're keeping a close eye on. If we don't turn things around between now and early October, there's a good chance there won't be many leaves on the trees for us to see change color by the time we hit, mid-October. So something to keep an eye on. Obviously, this is terrible for those with the crops too. So we need some rainfall. Bad news is that we do not have much rainfall in the forecast. There are some slim chances. We'll talk about those coming up, but not a lot. Continue the drought theme. Thank you, Susan. I am having a good evening. I'll have an even better evening once I get out of here and get some dinner, and then we'll be great. The weather number is 123.3%. That is the increase, 123, over 100% increase in the area across the Midwest. Now, this includes the upper Midwest, portions of Minnesota, North Dakota, I think, and all the way down here to Kentucky, Ohio, on the eastern flank. 123% increase in the area. It went from like 20% of the Midwest to 40-something percent, right? Almost half of the Midwest is now seeing at least abnormally dry conditions, if not moderate drought. So some areas are even experiencing severe drought. So we'll see how much worse this gets before it gets better. But it's not a pleasant trend unless you're trying, like I said, to run a car wash. Then you're in great shape because people are going to be all over that. Right now we're looking at the sunset, and I don't have my sheet. I'm just now noticing. Sunset tonight at 7:55. Sometimes I can remember things, except to bring my sheet in here, my forecast sheet. But 7:55 is the sunset time. By the end of the month, September 30th, sunset is going to be 7:22. On our way to those 5:15 sunsets. We'll be streaming in December, a couple hours after the sunsets at 5:15 by the time we hit early December in terms of sunset time here in Cincinnati. 75 degrees outside. Here's the good news. We are trending back up in the temperature department by the end of this week, but the humidity is not going to be joining it for the most part. It's going to be a little stickier outside by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday next week, but not nearly like what we saw outside in August when we had the corn sweats going on. We couldn't get away from the humidity. It's going to be nice and dry outside, so while we'll be back in the mid-80s for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday next week, it's going to feel like the mid-80s. So not a whole lot in the heat index department. Compared to this point yesterday, just depends on where you're at. Most spots anywhere between about 3 to 6 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. Hamilton, you're coming in 9 degrees warmer than at this point 24 hours ago, and just a little variability here, about 3 to 6 again across much of the Ohio Valley. That's a gradual trend that's going to continue right on through the end of this week, and by the time we hit Saturday, Sunday, again, mid-80s on the way. We do have at least a slim opportunity to see a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. This is going to be early Thursday morning. We've been kind of keeping an eye on this. It depends on a few things. This low here off to the west is going to try to take a dive here to the south. And with it, you can see some precipitation with that. It's going to be battling, though, this area, this ridge of high pressure, right? There's kind of a protective dome up over the Ohio Valley. That's the same high that's been dragging in the cooler air. It's now off to our east, which means the winds have shifted. We're seeing that southerly breeze again, which pushed us into the upper 70s this afternoon. But that protective dome is going to try to keep that precipitation out. We'll see how this progresses as it takes a dive here off to the south. If we see any showers from this, if we do, it'll be very early Thursday morning. Most of you will be asleep, and it's not likely to really make a dent in those drought-like conditions we've been experiencing. So not a lot of help with it, but we'll take anything we can get, really, at this time of the year. Just a few fair weather clouds there. You saw it on the camera looking off to the west there. Might be a pretty good sunset outside this evening. Temperatures will take a dive after the sun sets at 7:55. We're back to the mid-50s tomorrow morning. Another fall-like morning, but a little warmer than those 40s that we've been seeing out there. Some spots will still drop into the 40s, so while a bit warmer, take the jacket. You'll need that early on. You will not need it for long because we will jump up quickly into the 80s tomorrow afternoon. Another sunny or mostly sunny day. Back to the 80s, summer-like temperatures without the real summer-like feel because we won't have a lot of humidity outside. 82 downtown, most areas in the 80s with the exception of our easternmost communities. A few clouds over there could keep temperatures in the upper 70s. There is the slimmest of chances for showers there early Thursday morning. We'll hope for the best for the free car wash out there Thursday morning, but you can see by the time we hit about sunrise, that chance fizzles out. High pressure takes over again, and that low kind of fizzles out off to the west. We were keeping an eye. Remember yesterday we were talking about that low that was in the Gulf of Alaska. And, a lot of things have to go right when you have a storm system out that far that has to go all the way across Canada and then make a hard right turn down here to the Ohio Valley. It's a similar reason why you have to be very cautious with snowfall forecasts. because a lot depends on where that system ends up, and that far out, I mean, you just really can't pinpoint things, right? A lot of things can change between now and Sunday. Well, things have changed, and the rain chances are lower for the weekend, if you missed that off the top of the show. Things are dropping out there. We still could see a shower or storm or two there on Sunday, but the chances are significantly lower than what we saw outside just yesterday. So that could change again. We could certainly see the chances go back up. Maybe the storm does want to come visit Cincinnati for Covington's Oktoberfest. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. Right now, the chances are very slim. It looks like we're still just going to be mostly dry and very warm out there. So Friday, Covington's Oktoberfest starts. Let's see how good my memory is. Newport, Lebanon, both also on Friday. Lebanon goes to Saturday. Newport, from what I understand, is just Friday. Covington takes over for the rest of the weekend. We also have Ziegler Fest up on Saturday up in Oakley. Oktoberfest also happening in Oakley, and there's a chance those two things might be the same thing. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're planning things. Either way, there's a ton of stuff happening. FC Cincinnati plays Saturday. The Bengals are home on Sunday going for 2-0 against Jacksonville. And, outside of just staying hydrated, I'm talking not with what's in the image there, but water. Drink plenty of water if you're going to be out and about because the temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer than what we saw outside just last couple of weekends. FC Cincinnati in particular for the march, about 85 degrees as you're marching into the stadium. Kickoff, first kick there at 82, dropping back through the upper 70s by the time the game wraps up, and as you're driving home you can crack the windows. But again, very mild for that, especially for this time of the year. It's not too far above normal. Our normals are still in like the low 80s, but for this time of the year, that's still pretty warm. We like to see the fall-like feels. Now, this is a 1 p.m. kick. It is an orange out. By the way, Oktoberfest night over at FC Cincinnati, so you'll probably see a few people out there in some lederhosen, some boonhosen, just enjoying the night. Over at the Bengals Stadium, not Oktoberfest Day, but this is going to be an orange out for the Bengals, home game, home opener. Tailgating, since it's a 1 o'clock kick, you're going to get saved from most of the heat outside. A really just beautiful tailgating weather out there, 74 degrees. Slimmest of chances we'll see a shower. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. The trend right now has been drier the last couple of model runs. We'll see if that sticks around by the time we get to the later week, Thursday, Friday or so. Let's see if that forecast is the same. But for right now, looks nice for the Bengals game. Whereas yesterday it was looking a little dicey outside, looking a little better. What is not looking better are the drought-like conditions, because here's what we're dealing with. And this is why, again, we have the potential to see a rapid onset drought here in Cincinnati, which is not good, as you would probably guess. Temperatures, that's one factor that goes into it. It takes into effect not just the temperatures that we're going to see, but temperatures we've had and how dry the soil has been. That's the big thing. It goes back and it looks at how dry the soil's been the last couple of weeks, and since we haven't seen a ton of rainfall, it's been really dry, right? A lot of people are starting to see some cracks in your yards. It takes that into effect, and that we're going to see above normal temperatures and very little help in the rainfall department. All those things combined over the next 10 to 14 days mean that those drought-like conditions are going to get progressively worse at a pretty fast pace. 85 Saturday, we drop down to 84 Sunday, and only down to 83 Monday. That's the big cool down as the storm system rolls off to our north, giving us just the slimmest of chances for showers. Next week, we rebound right back to where we started. Oktoberfest Cincinnati is next Thursday there. This one, and you can see, look at that. It is going to be a little sweaty in the lederhosen outside for Oktoberfest Cincinnati. And you'd never know this time of the year. It could be 90 degrees. It could be 60s with rain, right? We're going to be kind of semi-pleasant. I think the humidity by next Thursday is going to be a little higher outside. But it's at Sawyer Point, so this also goes in, and we kind of Sawyer Point will at least give you some shady options where you can hide from some of that sunshine, because it does look right now like next Thursday looks to be mostly sunny. Friday the clouds increase and we'll see another chance for some showers, but it's a slim chance. Again, no real great rain chances the next 10 days. And when it comes to this map, for the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, it's not just us, right? It's a lot of the country that's going to be dealing with these above normal temperatures between now and the start of fall. First day of autumn is the 22nd, so we're just 13 days away from that, 2 weeks from yesterday. And a lot of us are going to be seeing these above normal temperatures as we work our way into the latter half of this month, if not well above normal temperatures, right? Here in the Ohio Valley. Normal, low 80s. That means we're at least in the mid 80s probably. And we could see some slightly higher temperatures than that. Can't rule that out as we work our way towards the first day of fall. And here's the other bad news is that near normal precipitation, well, that'd be okay if we were in April or May when our average precipitation is 5 inches a month. This is our driest month of the year. We only get about a little over 3 inches. We've only picked up 0.91 about a third of the way into the month, right? So we're on pace. We're a little bit above, above the pace for a normal month as of the 9th, right? But near normal between now and September 23rd, I mean, we need some precipitation, or else we're gonna start getting some really brown yards, and I fear for the crops here in this area because it's getting close to to harvest season if it hasn't already started for many areas. So something we got to keep an eye on here because we don't have a lot of rain chances. This is it. There's that slim chance Thursday morning while you're sleeping. We have another chance ramping up into the weekend, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's that other storm that is going to be pushing our way, but it's a long ways out, and right now the trend is it's going to be farther north of us, and that's going to keep our rain chances more minimal. And then another chance to end the forecast, or the extended forecast, just a slim chance. So no great rain chances out there. Don't love it for our drought conditions. Here we go. Let's throw this up here for you. Cross zoom it in. Boom. Here you go. 7-day forecast. Again, great for the outdoor plans. Not great if you're experiencing the drought-like conditions already because we don't have a lot of relief in the forecast here. If you're a car wash owner, you're just loving this. 84 degrees outside Friday. Saturday, we're back to 85 for FC Cincinnati, playing Nashville at 7:30. So the pregame festivities over there at Washington Park, or if you're marching in, drink plenty of water out there. We're not going to have much humidity. But, 85 is 85. You're going to feel it. 84 Sunday, Bengals have an earlier kick at 1 o'clock in the afternoon against Jacksonville for the home opener. So tailgating is going to be in the 70s, 80s for game, time temperatures by the time that game wraps up. Little warm for professional football, but here we are. Monday and Tuesday, we'll see that slim chance linger, and then we dry back out for the first day of Oktoberfest on Thursday. That is Thursday the 18th. And then Friday the 19th, the Reds are back in town for a 3-game series with somebody who I don't have my sheet, and I didn't write it down, so it doesn't matter anyway. But they're back here again. They lost last night. Jeremy or Joe, whoever's in this evening, will probably tell us more about what that means for the chances of the wild card spot. I think they were about 3.5 out. So we will see how that works. Let's see. To the tourists there, when are they going to announce? I don't know. We don't know what we're doing in that department. So I would follow up with an email to management because, very hush-hush on these things. Let's see what else we got going on. Everybody else here, hopefully you're having a good night. Really no big weather issues out there. Oktoberfest looks warm for next week, at least the early look ahead, but very minimal rain chances, which is great. For the events going on. Don't forget, would love to have you join me here on Facebook. Some of you are watching me on the Book of Faces, but if you would like to follow me or like the Facebook page so you get these weather updates, great opportunity to follow that right now because my name sometimes not the easiest to spell. So it's on there on the screen for you. So follow me there. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram. I'll just preface this with Twitter. I don't get on too much, but you will see some posts like the drought monitor post I put up earlier about how our drought's been getting exponentially worse the last couple of weeks. That's on there. You'll also get severe weather alerts. But the way they have kind of configured things now on X, they don't come in chronologically, which is kind of annoying for us when it comes to getting that weather information out to you. So not my favorite. That's where I would stick to Facebook for the severe weather stuff. And then Call Me Brad on Instagram is where you'll see more pictures of me like drinking coffee and eating delicious food because I like to do both of those things. Hiding in the weeds for the Bengals season opener. That was what I was doing on Sunday for a picture. Anyway, check me out on those social media pages. Would love to have you follow along, like it. I'm going to throw the 7-day to 10-day forecast back up for you, and then we'll call it an evening. Hopefully you have a good one. I'm going to go eat some dinner, and it's going to be nice. And if you don't have any evening plans, if you don't have any evening plans, make some. If you have some, you're in great shape. Get out there, enjoy your not-so-terrible Tuesday. We have a wonderful Wednesday on the way. Thursday, slimmest of chances for a shower. That'll come in early in the morning. We'll continue to pinpoint that tomorrow, see if those chances go up or down, and we'll keep an eye on the weekend too. But overall, a mostly dry stretch, mostly stagnant, summer-like stretch ahead. High temperature 85 on Saturday. Enjoy your Tuesday evening, everybody.